Chalo.
Shabab are waiting. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Mad Mamluks. My name is Sim. Along with me are my co-hosts, Sheikh Amir.
Assalamu alaikum.
And the one and only Mort.
Assalamu
Welcome to the show, everyone. It's nice to have you guys back. It's the days of Dhul Hijjah. So be generous and help us out at the Mad Mamluks. I don't know. Sounds like a great transition.
Beautiful transition.
Help us out by giving us a small donation every month through our Patreon. Patreon.com/the Mad Mamluks. Every little bit helps and keeps this show up afloat and running. We survive by the skin of our teeth. We like it nice and dangerous that way. We do.
I was born.
You like the chaos, huh?
I enjoy it.
I was born on the 2nd of Dhul Hijjah, guys.
Oh yeah.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah, remember we talked about this.
Dude, I had
How
no idea.
Sim was born in Ramadan and Mort was born in the number 2 month.
Wow.
Dhul Hijjah.
Wow.
Dhul Hijjah. I'm still in a Dhul Qaeda mood though.
What does that mean?
I don't
what
know
does that
what
mean?
that
I'm in the Al-Adha mood.
Does that mean like a submarine sinking type of mood? Like, what does that mean?
That's messed up, bro. Wait, what is this? I want to know what does it mean? I'm
Like
in
Dhul
Al-Qaeda.
Hijjah just kind of.
I understand the Shawwal, Ramadan's over, you want to party, but I don't get the Dhul Qa'dah mood.
Well, I just thought that.
Wait, hold on. Do you know what comes before, like?
Why are you
what-
testing him, bro?
No, do you know what comes right after Dhul Hijjah?
It's what after Dhul Hijjah?
Yeah, like right after Dhul Hijjah.
Rabi'a Thani?
No, close, but not that close, but actually.
No, Muharram.
Yeah. Isn't it Kunky Dinky that like these people on the submarine dying and then there's Muharram right afterward? It's like a.
No, I don't get it. I was thinking.
They can warn them, you know.
Oh, I see what
Why?
you're saying.
Oh, the brother Shia?
No,
The
I'm
The
just
brother
saying-
Shia.
No.
Shahzad?
But you know, no,
Shahzad,
no,
right? That's his name?
Shahzad.
The Shahzad. This
Shahzad.
is how they spelled it, yeah.
Yeah, but listen, this is a thing. Like, desis of the Indian subcontinent, whether it be Sunni or Shia, they have this this thing about Muharram in the morning, and it's so weird because it's cultural. But Islamically, there's no significance of doing that, right? I mean, we just do Yom al-Ashura for Allah saved Musa alayhi salam. But most desis don't realize, like, when people are celebrating things in like Muharram, they get shocked, like, because you're culturally not supposed to have any happiness, like show any happiness in Muharram. And unfortunately, it's like this the way that the Shiite culture kind of creeped into like the Indian subcontinent along with the Hindu stuff. Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah.
So Sheikh, what's your opinion on the shabab who are in the submarine?
The Shabab in the submarine, I was watching as much as I can regarding it and reading, but look, dude, the pressure, just if they're down there for that long and they got that low, it's like, what, 12,000 feet plus where the Titanic is sunk? Bro, at that...
Do you feel bad for them, Sheikh? Because
I feel bad for them.
But they're billionaires, though.
It doesn't matter what they have, dude. It's human life. Of course you feel bad.
I mean, you don't know how much money he gave away in Sadaqah or whatever. You don't.
But not
know
only that, let's say they were billionaires or they were
and what does that kid have to do? I mean, the kid is just a kid.
Yeah, I know. Some people are saying,
It's unfortunate.
oh, like it's like a rich man's sport and you shouldn't feel bad. Like these guys shouldn't, they knew the risk and like, why are we spending our tears on these people?
No, listen. The only thing I'm guilty of is laughing at certain memes. It's the only thing I'm guilty of. Look, it's a downside of mine. Like, I can laugh at anything, right? And so people have been saying on memes, and I get it. It's kind of mean, but they're also very funny. But look, as far as someone dying,
that's pretty low of you, though.
Yeah, it is. I have to admit, it's my downside. Like, I can laugh off like death and comedy.
You sunk to new depths.
Yeah, I know. Really low without kind of running low on oxygen down here. That's how deep I am. But anyways, listen. No, but the reality is like, look, I'll say this much, right? That, listen, anyone dying is bad, right? And as far as like, oh, what is he doing with his money? You don't know what he did with his money. And the same thing could be argued like, just reverse it, like what you do in like us mere mortals who go around like taking regular airplane tickets on vacations, right? What if the plane comes down? Could someone go like, oh, why would you spend money on a vacation and go down that way? We could have just been on Earth, on the ground doing other things. Why didn't you donate to Somalia or India or like Pakistan? Why do you take a vacation? But these guys are billionaires, right? $250 grand to take a drop in the ocean for them. They don't really
Was
care.
it 250 grand per person or altogether?
No, per person, per seat.
No way.
Yeah, so that thing was about $1.25 million for that whole thing. Yeah, but they're billionaires, bro.
I know, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
So that's like
That's like quarters for them.
yeah, that's like going on like regular on a trip to Turkey. I mean, it doesn't really matter for them,
Yeah.
right? So contextualize it. I'm not saying that he's spending his money all righteously, but I don't think we should be sitting there making account of how much the guy has money he has,
Yeah,
right?
there's a lot other
Yeah.
much more things at stake here, but it's unfortunate. But they were saying that the amount of pressure that's down there is like,
Dude, they're pancakes, bro. With that pressure, dude, what probably happened? They probably exploded. With that amount of pressure going down, the body can't handle it. They're gonna be pancakes and exploded, bro.
And even the people that looked at the engineer, they're like, yeah, we should have done little things more. We should have looked at the safety. The submarine specialist who did, I don't know, 8 years plus something in just a submarine. I forgot which brigade he was a part of, but he was mentioning, look, we actually have to track every single bolt and where it came from and its material, and every single bolt has a little number on it that we have to make sure that's in good condition before we even put it through exercises and stuff. And that thing that they want done, bro, that's not gonna well, if they're in trouble with that thing, any little thing goes wrong, that thing, like he said, they're gonna be, dude, it's gonna be just the size of a Coke can, bro.
I mean, look, there's that one guy who's that adventure, Richard Branson, is it? Who goes down below into new depths? No. James Cameron.
Yes.
James Cameron.
Branson goes to space.
James Cameron should have been involved in the hunt for these guys. Yeah. But right now they're looking in a needle in a haystack. Yeah. You know what size they've narrowed down the region? They said two times the size of Vermont, which is I don't know.
200 square miles or something.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. I mean, and they have like these sonar ships that are running by trying to pick them up. You know how they heard that little knocking? Sound, yeah. You know what I think that is? I think it's just the body parts exploding by pressure, bro.
No, they've heard that those similar sounds apparently in other like the MH3 during the search of the MH337 or whatever. The airplane that went down around Indonesia or Malaysia. They heard similar clanging sounds. It turned out to be nothing. I don't know how much to make of it. I think
probably a whale farting or something,
Well, apparently I was wondering. I'm like, wait, why can't these guys have like some kind of buoy that's floating up on top and have a long like chain that goes all the way down to the bottom of the wherever they're going to? But apparently that is also like a logistical nightmare. You can't
it can get caught on many things.
Yeah, it not just get caught.
It'll pull something down because of pressure.
The pressure itself will destroy.
Just suck it whatever. Nothing can hold it up.
Yeah, it's insane. So they're 2 miles down below, and I don't think they're going to be found, man.
No, they're done, bro. They're pancakes.
Forget about it. Let's just say the boat is structurally sound. The oxygen is, I think they're at the limit now. Like if
I think originally it was 96 hours of oxygen, right? Yeah. And we're coming across that. But here's the worst part. Even if they were able to get to let's say somehow it magically popped up somewhere else, right? You can't. Somebody from the outside has to open the hatch. There's no way to open it from the inside.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What?
No. They can't. First of all, they're gonna have to tugboat it out. Like
yeah.
If they're like all the way down below on the floor, good luck doing that.
No, I'm saying even if somehow the thing magically started working and they popped up somewhere and they came up on the whatever, lost communications or because of the pressure and the mechanics not working, but somehow they were to come back up. Even if they got up and made it higher, got up to the sea level, they'd be floating in a tank. They can't get out of it. There's no way to get out from the inside.
Why? Because
they designed it. I don't know. They designed it that way. Somebody from the outside has to unlock the hatch.
Wait, you're sure about this?
Yeah, bro. Yes, I'm positive. 100%.
That's ridiculous.
Hey, I don't know, bro. They didn't want some.
I thought you were saying because of pressure they would be able to open it.
No, they didn't want some dude I guess maybe some tourist going in there just popping the hatch randomly or something.
This is the submarine that's missing.
Yeah.
This is a tiny little thing, bro. But I mean,
Literally, you know what they're doing? Imagine this table. Imagine like what 2 people sitting in the front, one guy this way, one guy this way, one guy in the back. That's literally how the ship is.
Oh boy,
it's tiny.
Bro, they've been using the washroom for 4 days.
Yeah,
it's got to be a mess in there.
I mean, hey, at least it's compacted, you know.
Compacted
because it's a pressure, you know.
What? How does that make any sense?
He's saying that it's gonna condense as soon as it comes.
And the pressure goes down. It's not gonna pollute in the ocean, you know.
Well, that makes no sense at all, bro.
No, the pressure, bro. He's talking about things get condensed because of the pressure. So he's saying everything is getting
compressed. That's not inside the boat.
Yeah,
inside the boat, they're gonna have you without the pressure.
No, eventually, the boat's gonna come down. It's gonna shrink. It's gonna collapse inside.
Yes, after they.
Yeah, no, I'm saying after as they hit 2 miles down, the pressure of that thing can't handle that. It's gonna start shrinking down, bro.
Oh, so you think as soon as it went down, it's
gonna start, dude. The pressure they can't handle.
So you're saying it wasn't built in a boat?
But they made the boat, the submarine, to handle that kind of pressure.
Yeah, but as it listen, guys, if there's no thrusters that are working and it's going past the Titanic, right? It's drifting away. It's going deeper and deeper. It can't handle being 2.5 miles underwater, bro. Dude, I mean, our submarines can hardly take like 3 miles under, and these are professional grade submarines. You're talking about tiny little tin tank, bro. This thing's not designed.
Didn't somebody intervene and tell them, "Hey, you guys shouldn't do this. It's a bad idea"?
Well, I would have thought that, like, if you're a billionaire, you'd have, like, you know, some of your associates first go in and say, "Hey, guess what? I got free tickets for you with Ocean Gate Titan here. Cute little submarine."
But is this the first time Ocean Gate ever went on?
No. Been before.
Why don't you go try it out?
No, but here's the thing. The worst part about this whole thing is it's not even like there's windows in this thing. They're watching it through a screen and this camera that's mounted on the outside. It's not even like
that's even more dumb.
Yeah, look at the inside. Google the inside of it. It's not like a window they can roll by the Titanic and go, "Oh, look at that." There's literally screens mounted on the inside, and they have an N64 joystick that they're just pedaling this thing around in.
I remember that they were laughing about the joystick thing, bro.
Oh.
Hang on, I'm pulling up
the inside. Can you see the inside? Yeah.
Do regular submarines have windows in them or no?
I'm not sure.
Oh, here we go.
Wouldn't that be a hazard?
There might, but I mean,
even a bulletproof.
They can have them, but I don't think they put them in there. Yeah, there you go.
Here we go.
The screens, bro. Not the inside.
No, wait, what's this?
That's a camera.
Oh, that's the camera. Right here.
It's like a tiny, I think it's my tiny front-facing like window hatch, but the whole thing basically is just, it's like, you know, there's nothing there. What a dumb thing to do. Is that worth $250,000?
That's pretty tight space, man. I wouldn't call that a vacation. That I would have told.
But how long were they planning on doing this for? It was supposed to be a few hours.
It turned into a staycation.
It was supposed to be a few hours, dude.
Jim is laughing, bro.
Well, he's surprised you're not laughing. You're just eating Casey's fish.
Look, man, people die all the time, bro. Look, I mean, look, I feel bad about it. People die all the time, bro.
Here we go.
I'm sorry, dude. People make a big deal, dude. Like, people die all the time. They understood the risk. They're dying. I feel bad for them. But hey, it's a dumb thing to do.
Well, he said the Ocean Gate CEO did say before no, not the Ocean Gate, the Explorer, who was the navigator.
I think the CEO is in the ship.
The CEO of Ocean Gate is also in the ship with them.
Yeah.
So I mean that he had confidence in the boat.
I hope people are dumping their stocks, bro.
Oh my god, you're a freaking capitalist, bro.
Oh,
you always think about money, bro.
I mean, that's what makes the money go around, bro. You know.
So what were you saying about CEO?
I like to think that the takbirat usually makes the world go around, but you know, some other people have other opinions here. MashaAllah. I'm glad we all learned a lot through the years of the Mad Mamluks, deriding capitalism and whatnot. Didn't go very far.
So you were saying something about the CEO having full confidence.
But they so apparently they were under investigation, or there was a lawsuit from one of the former higher ups at Ocean Gate who said that the submarine's not safe. They countersued, saying that you broke some kind of confidentiality agreement, and they said we have a senior engineer who signed off on the safety of the submarine, and So I guess the OceanGate CEO really believed in his analysis or the safety of the product, and just didn't come through.
And by the way, somebody's saying, just to give you an idea, I don't know how true this is, but maybe they know more than I do, but the pressure of 2 miles underwater is like having the equivalent of like 20 elephants on your head.
Yeah. That guy was mentioning a few Empire State Buildings or something. The weight of an Empire State Building or something like that.
I mean, things just crumble. You start going deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
They just crumble at the weight. Like, it literally flattens you out. But anyway, look, that guy's a Muslim. I mean, may Allah give him...
He's an oligarch.
May Allah still give him Jannah, you know. I mean, we don't know what kind of guy he was, but we assume good, you know. Maybe give a lot of charity.
Plus, he drowned too, so most likely that's the case. Well,
I mean, you know.
Let's talk about something else, bro. I have a feeling this is going to go pretty weird.
Yeah, because, you know...
we already started off really weird about this.
Sim likes to start off with the chaotic stuff. Like, he likes to start off with...
I was talking about Dhul Qaeda. How I was in a Dhul Qaeda mood, and then you guys started talking about submarines.
But isn't that like
there was a little
isn't that like a
little angel on my left hand shoulder that
Oh.
everyone can see right now. We started talking about not my left hand, not an angel.
The one on the left is writing right now.
So yeah, he's the one who brought up the submarine. I wasn't even going to talk about the submarine.
That's cool. I like it. That's awesome.
I was going to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's pretty big news.
Yeah,
I kind of like this stuff, you know. I mean, I like the story of the Titanic.
So you know what I was thinking about in this thing? Do you remember? Let's take it back to the '80s. Remember that movie Abyss?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a gorgeous movie.
What a cool movie.
That was way ahead of
What
its
if something
time.
like that happens?
Remember how they could breathe underwater because of they train their lungs. They put some kind of liquid so that in their lungs so that it can absorb oxygen.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember there's this cool scene where he can like put his hand through these beings and they can like kind of come in between and come out. Like, it was really cool. Really
that
cool.
was
That's
one of the first movies I saw when I was a kid.
Like sci-fi movie, right?
Yeah, and I didn't understand it, but I just thought it was so cool because I first thought it was like a horror movie, but it wasn't a horror movie, but it was more like just mind blowing. I don't know.
I honestly didn't want to watch it again because I was like you. I was a kid. I didn't understand it. I just saw cool scenes. Like, remember the hand in the toilet thing, whatever he was doing, and all these different things, and like this pinkish being like floating around him. He's talking to it, whatever. Remember the greenish thing? I want to watch it again. But
the opposite of The Abyss is called another movie called Event Horizon. You got to check that out.
Event Horizon.
It's about a ship that goes towards like the edge of space and time, and everything starts bending. And it's kind of horror-ish too. There's bit of
what
creepiness.
was that movie that we saw that was kind of about something, a colony that's underwater? Was it Prometheus?
The entire town is underwater?
No, it's like an entire colony that was underwater.
Prometheus was kind of
Prometheus?
Like that. I don't know if that was all.
Well, that's had Alien. That's part of the Alien.
Oh, no, something we watched. Anyways, I can't remember it, but something about this entire thing comes out of the water, the civilization, and then they had to like come out of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm forgetting it. Anyways, yeah.
Something Atlantis related sounds like.
Yeah, but sci-fi. I mean, look. To be honest, though, the ocean. To be honest, is something that's we know very little about.
It's a whole different world, bro.
Isn't it crazy? We could go send ships in the stars, but we can't like go to these depths for much long periods of time.
Dude, it's a different world. It literally is a world. Everything there is breathing water.
You know, one thing me and Sim were looking at one day. They had these fishes that we were. I think they. I don't know what they are. I mean, I don't know if you call them fishes.
Call them fish. Plural is fish. Also.
No, I'm just saying down the bottom of the sea. I don't know if you call them fish or if they're like, crab. I don't know what the hell they are. But listen. Anyways, apparently they're transparent. Like these things are like they're moving around.
There's no light.
There's no light. There's no skin color. I mean, you can't just have eyes. Just the little eye thing.
Yeah.
And even the eyes don't work because they're so dark down there. They just have to sense everything because
there's no pigmentation that it captures.
Yeah, because no sunlight that comes at all.
Yeah, sunlight apparently. So you learned, the scientists learned from the evolutionary process that we're not talking about the evolution.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about like the evolutionary process with regards to animals. That it's the sun that gives many of the animals or all the animals the color, all living beings that the color that they have, because the depths of the ocean don't have any color.
That's
pretty crazy.
It was like an evolutionary trait, right? So the sun plus the environment. That's part of the reason why some of those creatures down below, they're extremely flat. Like they're not like they have very weird, like even the way their mouths are and how they eat, like their mouths are almost on top of their head because like the way they have to hunt and get things are different because of the pressure and how flat they are.
But it's amazing that they can survive down there. How they survive in that pressure.
By the way, you know what else is super amazing? Since we're talking about this, I know this sounds such like an old man thing, but bird watching, dude. Like, have you seen some of these birds? The colors these birds have. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Some of these tropical birds, subhanallah, when you see them, like this, it is like regal. Like when you see these birds.
Yeah.
The vibrant, like the vibrant colors they have, and the organization of it, and how the feathers move over, and they, oh my god, these birds. Yeah. I stumbled across some kind of bird page, and I just went into a black hole. I was like, all these different kind of birds. I'm like, oh my god, the color combinations. Allahu Akbar.
Who's that guy? The British dude who's like a really good narrator.
Look at this fish. Someone in the chat said.
Let me see. Put it on the screen for everybody, bro.
I am.
You know.
Somebody
I've seen that enjoyer.
Bro.
Yeah, it's a
look at this, bro.
Boy.
Oh my god. Wait, hang on. Why is this resolution terrible? Hang on, let me increase the resolution here. Oh wow.
Barrel life fish.
2 green spheres in these video shots are the lenses of its tubular eyes. Behind the eyes is a set of large scales.
Wow.
The eyes are enclosed within a transparent shield. So,
let me pause that 1 second.
It looks like a universe inside of it.
It does,
doesn't it? Like 2 planets and like it looks like a universe.
Oh, so the eyes are actually the green blobs that you're seeing?
Yes,
and those are the eyes.
And the scales are behind it.
Oh,
yeah. At first, I thought those things in the front were the eyes.
Yeah, look right. But it looks like deceptive, right?
Guys, if you guys are listening on the podcast, turn on the YouTube channel and watch this. This is insane.
Yeah.
Can you just forward it a little bit? I just want to see like the whole.
Yeah, I will. I can't play the whole video because they'll flag us.
Sir.
So, the fish's olfactory organs. Typically, Macropinna sits quietly in the water, using its big fins for stability, while it scans the water above for food.
Wow.
When it spots food, it can rotate its eyes to look forward, to include its mouth in the field of view.
Oh, wow.
We speculate that Macropinna steals food from siphonophores, elongate animals with tentacles that capture prey that swims into them. And we think that Macropinna swims into the tentacles and steals the food from the siphonophores. The shield over its eyes protects those sensitive structures from the stinging cells in the siphonophores' tentacles.
Wow.
It can also rotate its eyes to avoid predators, or to avoid being captured by scientists.
That's insane.
This is Bruce.
Amazing.
Wow. Let's give credit to Monterey Bay Aquarium for that video.
Wonder what they taste like. Because people might be having that.
Sheikh, we're just talking about the fish and the beauty of the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave.
No,
and you want to fry it?
He wants to eat it, bro.
You want to have a McDonald's filet o fish with it?
I'm just wondering if you fry it, if that top transparent part just becomes solid or something.
And I put it between some...
Yeah, because people might be eating that for Eid. I mean, people eat all types of Eid celebrative foods.
Sheikh,
we have all types of stuff going on.
Why is the filet o fish so good? No food has made Muslims in America so happy.
A lot of it had to do with the bun, bro.
Because the filet o fish saved Muslim sanity. At least the ones who ate labia halal, they did not want to.
You can go to McDonald's.
We eat McDonald's all day, every day. That's what my parents said. That was a big deal, going to McDonald's like once a year.
When we were little, my dad, we preferred going to Burger King because the burgers are bigger.
I like Burger King better.
You guys ate? Oh, they're fish. They're fish back in the day.
Yeah. I like the
BK Big Fish.
BK Big Fish.
And they add more the tartar sauce in that one.
Muslims went there so much. One of my cousins or my nephews made a screen called "Let Me Get a Number 10."
I remember that.
Yeah. That's based off the McDonald's combo. Let me get a number 10.
Well, do you ever think about like the inventors of these things, or were they like maybe blessed because they brought so much joy to Muslims?
No.
I don't know. I just think that
I always think about whenever I have a headache, I think about the guy who invented ibuprofen. I was like, wow, May Allah bless this man with Jannah. But I don't know if he could do that dua because he must have died off of the religion, right? So then I take back my dua. Say,
every time he does it, every time he ibuprofen, don't. If he took a ibuprofen 100 times, he had this process 100 times happen to him. He didn't learn from the first time.
I just say Alhamdulillah, bro, because Allah did everything, right? That's a simple thing.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes you're really grateful to the person who invented the medicine, you know?
Mm-hmm. I guess.
What do you mean you guess?
I never really thought about thanking the inventor. I just thought about Allah. Just
no, bro. I think about Allah too.
You know? I think about Allah too.
Yeah.
Listen, I was born in Ramadan, and you.
And he was born in Medina, bro.
But I think about Allah, and you don't. You think about the
Dhul Hijjah, Ramadan. Dhul Hijjah, Ramadan.
Allah, inventor. Allah.
Oh, astaghfirullah, bro.
I think about Allah. You think about the inventor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're honestly born on the 2nd of Dhul Hijjah, right? That's cool. First Sunday of Dhul Hijjah, mashallah, bro.
I guess it's cool.
That's beautiful. So let's talk about Eid, shall we? And the various celebratory foods.
The Bihar this year?
Inshallah, yeah.
Oh yeah, where are you going, Indiana?
Well, I sent it to one of my teachers in Bangladesh.
Oh, I thought you were going to do it by hand.
Not by hand, no.
Okay. You did that before, right?
By hand, yeah.
When did you do that?
Man, the last time I actually sacrificed was probably like 10 years ago.
But don't you like animals, though, Sheikh? Like, why would you actually do it yourself?
Hey, you know, sometimes being a religious person, you have to do things that you don't want to do.
I went last year.
You know, they have souls. They're poor.
You've done it?
Yeah, last year I did it.
Why don't you like animals?
I do love them. That's why I eat them.
No, if you're a savage, you shouldn't be eating animals.
Why not?
It's not good.
When I have a vegan Eid?
They have they have souls. They have feelings. You think just because animals don't have feelings?
They are sentient beings.
They can articulate, but they just can't articulate that we do. Yeah. And all that blood, you think that's so savage. You should resort to eating plants.
Yeah. Forget those things. They suck. Plants suck. Eat them.
So what we're talking about, if you haven't heard, is that the UC Berkeley Muslims...
UC Berkeley, throw them all under the bus. UC Berkeley Muslims, yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean the college students at UC Berkeley. Yeah. This is a Californian college for the shabab who are out of the... not in the United States. They're not familiar with the western parts of the United States, California in particular, where there's a lot of loopy Muslims. We have made bara of them. We disassociate their actions from the rest of the Muslim ummah. They are...
I agree with them.
Yeah.
Okay, in all fairness, it's probably a small group of
no. Listen,
yahoos.
There's no doubt that when it comes... I'm not saying all California Muslims, but there's no doubt that California has a large percentage of liberal Muslims.
He said UC Berkeley, because I know there's... I'm pretty sure there's some really...
in general, California produces a lot of crazy liberals. And,
of course, but I'm just saying, in UC
we make
Berkeley...
off from them, bro.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people in the UC Berkeley MSA that are like, man, these guys have lost it, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure there are.
Yeah, I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
But everything weird comes out of California.
Yeah,
right?
It does.
Remember during Ramadan, I didn't want to talk about this because we weren't doing any episodes during Ramadan, but during Ramadan, one of the mosques had like all the sisters come up to the front where the men were in one of the Californian masjids.
The sisters want to feel like what it's to be in the lines of greatness.
I saw that, and I saw the woman that arranged it, and she's like, "No, the mosque usually has separate, but." You know, it was just the space was open, so they wanted to feel closer to the imam, so they came down. They could have done it better, but she's like, please don't criticize it because you're gonna turn back all the work we've done for women, especially in masjid spaces. I'm like, well, should have thought about that before you did something stupid.
It's not about that, bro. Look, they just want to know what it feels like to be great in those front lines of the masjid, bro.
All right, so anyway, get back
that the women don't get ajr for being in the rows.
They just want to feel what it feels. They just want to be close to that greatness, bro.
Would that when you're leading the prayer? Is that what you mean? Oh, okay.
So back to plant-based Eid al-Adha, the UC Berkeley MSA on June 28th or 29th starts at 12. Why is there confusion about June 28th or 29th?
Bro, I'm so confused about the meat, bro. No, but everybody already knows when the Hijjah started.
Yeah.
So they probably set this out before.
They think about a moon sighting or something.
No, they probably set this out before the moon sighting happened.
No, but these people don't go by the Hijjah based on the meaning the Saudis. Like they just do like the Hijjah is based on how they sight it in their time. So their starting may have been different than Saudi, right? So this came out way before.
Dude, everyone started at the same time this year, bro. Everyone in America started at the same time.
Bro, I'm saying that came out way before
yeah.
Hijjah.
That's what I'm saying.
That the 28th or 29th, depending on what day the Hijjah started.
For sure.
Right? Yeah.
So what do you think are going to be some great dishes to bring there?
Well, it seems like there's going to be a bunch of avocados, I believe.
Avocados,
carrots.
Of course.
Tofu.
Yeah.
Tofu is always a classic.
And you can't have sushi because that's vegan, right? So
no,
you
it's
can't
not
have
vegan.
it.
Yeah.
No milk, no cheese. Because vegetarian and vegan are different. Vegan means no animal byproducts at all.
Yeah.
So no cheese, no milk, no eggs.
Yeah. Oh, nothing. Yeah.
Nothing.
Oh,
so they could be eating a bunch of like nuts and
lettuce and avocados. Avocados have
raisins,
a lot of healthy fats. Figs. Dates. Hopefully.
Yes. Dirt.
Yeah, dude. So
dirt is very helpful. Maggots.
Did you guys see the video that Brother Harris sent us about the...
Harzama?
No, from our team and WhatsApp group.
Oh.
He sent us a nice video about how the vegan diet doesn't... apparently there's a doctor who was explaining how the vegan diet doesn't give you omega-3s. If you are going to take fish, the only way you would get omega-3s is through fish capsules, but you can't. If you're a pure vegan, you can't even get that. Yeah. So you're depriving your body of omega-3s. Yeah. You literally can't be a fully healthy human being.
Dude, let's even start with the principles. Look, the principle is, look, if you choose to be a vegetarian or don't eat meat because you believe that there's harsh treatment of animals, but you believe that Allah gave us these animals, like He says in the Quran, for us to benefit from and to eat from and to sacrifice these animals on Eid, which is a big part of being a believer, is of Eid al-Adha, of the animal being sacrificed and the meat given out. It's an ibadah, it's an act of worship. You believe that's a part of your deen, but because the bad treatment of animals, for ethical reasons, you don't want to eat meat that's consumed in certain areas. The way I get that. Time for me to get set up for therapy. Sorry. Yeah, time for me to get set up for therapy too. So that's one thing. But where it becomes very dangerous is that you're a vegan because you believe that we shouldn't be eating animals because it goes against ethics across the board. Then we have a major problem because you're denouncing what Allah made halal, and Allah actually ordered us to do so in instances of sacrificing animals. Forget about eating. Allah commanded us that if you're going to sacrifice, you sacrifice an animal based on the Eid al-Adha, right? Whether you think it's wajib or you think it's sunnah, like the Shafi'is and other scholars believe that even if you have the nisab, that it's sunnah, right? It's not wajib. Imam Abu Hanifa is of the opinion that it's wajib. He has considered to be the most stringent opinion of its obligation, right?
Obligation for what?
Sacrificing an animal if you have the nisab.
Even if,
if you have the ability?
Yeah, if you have the ability, yeah.
So, but... So like, what if you don't have the guts? Like you're kind of like, you know.
Yeah, that's fine. Then you can give somebody else.
Well, what if you're scared?
Ask somebody else to do it.
But you pay for someone else to do it.
But what I'm saying is,
but Imam Abu Hanifa says
wait, are you afraid to do it?
I didn't say that.
No, because I think you're struggling with it. I mean, we're gonna take you around the farm and do it.
Why would I be afraid?
This is how you relate to. This is how you have to relate to him to get him to do it. Remember what happened to Batman, bro? Remember how he conquered his fear of bats?
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's what he wants to do with you. He wants to make a Batman out of you.
But I like the lamb though.
So
I like the goat. I like
it. They're really cute.
I don't like the taste of them either.
So, no problem. Give it to somebody else. But
do a cow, bro. Do a cow and split it.
Bro, it's so simple, bro. Honestly, just bring it down, feed it a little bit,
and people help you out there too.
Listen. I tell you, listen. You have it easy, bro. I had to grab these things and catch them myself. You have to like grab them by the horn to go. The male ones grab them by the horn to goats and bring them over there, and then you put him down, give him some food, stuff in his mouth, bro. Let him calm down a little bit. Put his ears over his eyes, right? Let him start. You watch his breathing. Yeah. When his breathing starts getting regulated, then you bring out that shiny knife and you go.
Look, Muslims have to understand that. Look, the reason why I mentioned all of that is to say that it is and it shouldn't be allowed and it's inhumane to sacrifice animals is a very, very big problem, because Allah said that if you are going to sacrifice, it's a part of our deen, bro. I can't be any more clear. It's a part of our religion, right?
Oh, remember, I know what you're talking about, that it's part of our deen, but these guys are saying that they are just having their own celebration apart from Muslims, they're having their own vegan celebration. Are they insulting the religion?
So can I say this?
Yeah.
Okay. So as long as, let's say they don't disagree with what Sheikh Amr said. They believe that the Dhabiha has to be done. They believe it's a tradition of the Muslims. They believe that people can eat meat, right? But they just want to have a separate celebration in terms of because they prefer to be vegan. For whatever reason. They say with health reason, whatever it may be. They're not against it and telling it, they're not disputing the law of Allah. Now, Sim asked a question. Are they insulting the Muslims by doing it? I don't think they're insulting the Muslims, but I think they're losing the spirit of the Eid. Because Eid is supposed to be a time when the Ummah comes together. There's a reason why the Prophet encouraged people to pray outside a different place in public for the people to see the numbers of the Muslims, to see the strength of unity, right? And to take part in the celebration and actions. Many times people don't see each other, but they see each other during the Eid.
Yeah, you're right.
And so this is one of those events where we see unity among the Muslims. Everyone is celebrating. Everybody is happy. Their families come together. The children are there. The events, interaction, day of happiness and rejoice. And then on that day you decide to do it your own thing. I feel like that's kind of like taking away from the spirit of being part of the Jama'ah and being
of course unity. No, look, we made light of it, but again, we don't know what their intention is. But the funny thing is,
but a lot of vegans, for example, they become vegan because of the treatment or the inhumane treatment of animals. That's the one opinion I respect of the people who taken on that lifestyle.
That's I think,
or I wouldn't even say vegan. I would say vegetarian people who chose to become vegetarian because first health, if there was some like incompatibility with their
diet,
with their diet, their body just doesn't deal well with meat. Okay, I understand that part. Those people, I have given excuse.
You get a pass.
Right?
Yeah. Oh,
second people.
Excuse. Wow.
Second people. I think we had Ustad Muhammad Lilan on a while back, and he had he was a vegan or vegetarian. I can't remember.
I think so. Yeah.
Please forgive me if I have that wrong. But he doesn't get upset with other people, other Muslims who choose to eat meat. He doesn't see himself at better than other people or anything like that. Very fair, very balanced view. I respect those kind of people,
And there's a reason why he does that too, because he doesn't think, because a part of eating halal, you also have to have tayyib. And if the animal is mistreated and living in feces with other animals, like there's no place for them to move, and they're living in their own filth, that animal is not tayyib.
But hold on, let me ask the question: are they truly vegetarian or vegan? They're not. I mean, I'll say
no. They would if they go to a place where they find out, like they would eat it if they sacrificed it on their own.
That's what I'm saying. So they're not vegetarian.
Yeah, they're temporarily. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So they're not vegetarians. They just abstain. They just don't find halal meat.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember that one Michael Landon looking guy who would do the goat whispering slaughters?
You mean in Australia?
Remember Michael Landon from
but he didn't look like Michael Landon though. From Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah,
he didn't look like Michael Landon.
He kind of looked like.
No, he looked like more like Fabio. Like he didn't. Look
Fabio. Fabio is what I was thinking.
Yeah, he didn't look like Michael Landon, bro.
He's a
good-looking, handsome Lebanese dude.
I got it. Yeah. There he is.
Yeah.
This dude's awesome. This guy's a legend, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I would be his fourth wife.
What?
I mean, look, he's so handsome, and look how well he's treating those animals.
You just forget about talking about all the pride stuff we're going to talk about today, bro.
I think you've been affected by pride, bro.
No, I'm just saying, if I was a woman, what's wrong with that? If I was born a woman, not like converted, trans,
The fact that you have to closet with that.
I mean, look, he's mashallah handsome. He's kind, considerate.
Exactly the same way all the prophets have done for thousands of years. Abraham, Noah, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad, peace upon all of them. Not using stun guns or hammers or any other electrical equipments, simply only using God's name upon slaughter.
Goat's so funny, bro.
They're so cute, bro. They're so cute.
Okay, what we're gonna do,
so docile,
the mamas, we're gonna bring him over here and we're gonna make him submit on the ground over here.
بسم الله الذي لا يضر شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. بسم الله الله أكبر Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Bismillah, Allahu Akbar.
Oh wait, is he gonna pull out a knife now and do it?
No.
You should have.
I don't want to see that.
This is total submission.
Oh, that's it.
Is that good
Total
enough?
submission. He's got.
I love this brother, man.
This guy's awesome.
That's pretty sick. But how, does that really work though? Did you guys ever try that?
I
Yeah, it
do. That's
works.
how we slaughter it.
What do you mean? You think it's just a stunt? People do that all the time. They cover the eyes.
Bro, I thought that was,
Yeah, you covering the eyes with the ears and holding the head, like, it works. That's how you do it.
You deceive them to feeling they're asleep.
Yeah. They're about to. You feed them a little bit, and they get relaxed, and
So
you let them lay them down.
This is not like a special power this guy has.
No,
Everyone
no,
has?
no, people do this.
This is how we do it, bro.
For years, I thought this
what
guy.
do you think the goat was just like crying around? And
No,
if
if you've been
stab
to
it?
places where they go to farms, like in Milwaukee or whatever the case is, a lot of these guys, they do it. Allah bless their hearts, bro, but they don't do it correctly, right? They're sacrificing all the animals in front of other animals. They don't give it water. You're supposed to do all that. I know it's not easy, but hey, dude, it's called a sacrifice because not just because you're sacrificing the animal. The whole process is what you sacrifice too, bro. Like you're not supposed to cut the other. You're not supposed to show the other animals the blade.
Yeah.
You're supposed to prefer that the animal doesn't see.
You take
your
it
blade.
away from it.
Take it far away from the other animals,
And then you feed it a little bit, so to give it some food, let
Water,
it feel
yeah.
relaxed, calm down, sit down. Then when it's in a relaxed state, you cover the eyes with the ears, or whatever you do with your hand, and then you turn the neck and you know.
And for years, I thought this was like a Olia superpower that this brother had.
No, he taught people.
I'm gonna cancel
He
this guy
taught
so
people.
fast.
He raised people's awareness, and for that, inshallah, he's from the awliya of Allah. You know
Have you seen how they do camels? Never watched that.
Yeah, you're not gonna.
Yeah,
You're gonna
die.
Why would people slaughter camels?
Hey,
man?
honestly,
Wait, why? Because they can.
They're great meat, but honestly, camels do feel out emotions. Like they have like this look of betrayal when you kill them.
Yeah,
But you know when they do it though? Honestly, it's
they
not
do
like
a nahr. It's called a nahr.
Yeah, so you basically just like stab the neck, bro. And
The
just
part
goes,
over here where it connects, or you stab it, and
Bro,
all the blood
it
just falls
just-
out.
it's like
It comes down like
fountain
a
of blood, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, that tears my heart apart. How could you guys do that?
Honestly, the first time I saw that in Saudi, when I went to a slaughterhouse, and they do the guy walked by, goes,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
three of them, like they're falling over, and the blood just comes.
More is probably laughing.
Listen,
the whole
no,
time.
but you know what the first thing that came to my head?
Huh.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the body. And
You
it's like
guys
blood
are
everywhere,
sick.
bro. And I was like,
You
oh,
guys
man.
have boulders for hearts. Both of you.
It's sinking down, bro.
Boulders.
It's been sunken.
They're evil.
Bro, he's evil. I didn't say nothing, dude. I just told you what the Islamic way of it would, which is
Even
allowed
camel?
Yeah, camel. Yeah.
You would slaughter camel?
I don't know if I would. I'm not gonna lie.
To
I'd
be
probably
honest,
be too scared.
I no, I wouldn't be scared, but I don't think if there were other animals to eat, I would eat that. I think camels are special.
See, a camel is special, especially because it's done a lifetime of service to you.
Yeah, I think camels are special animals.
It traversed
I wouldn't do a
incredible
horse or
geographic
camel.
Okay,
regions.
guys. Though you guys are. It's good that you guys are sentimental and have deep thoughts about this
Yeah.
stuff, but it doesn't matter, bro. You eat it. That's it.
No, but hold on, listen. It's not a common thing for most people just to go slaughter camels.
It's not common.
They'll do like goat and sheep and other things. Because camel is something that there's a lot of benefit from the camel and the companionship of the camel, right? It's different.
Yeah.
Like
And
a
a part of
horse.
that is a food, bro.
It's kind of like killing a horse.
Yeah.
But that's fine, dude. It's okay, bro. Listen, let's just get back on track, dude. Can
Yeah.
we talk
What do
about
you
the
mean
vegan?
bro? We're talking about slaughtering animals, bro.
So you guys are getting all feeling, but they're so evil.
I'm not saying it's evil. I'm just saying that there's utility in a horse and camel. Sheep are just dumb. You just walk and follow you around. What do? They give you fur and that's it. I mean, but I'm saying that they can't carry nothing. They just all day long.
But
They
that's
just
the
follow
track
you.
that people. That's the track that vegans start taking when they
No,
start
I'm saying
humanizing
there's utility.
animals.
I can get more out of a horse. Like I can put a bunch of sheep on a horse and drive off, bro. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I can tug a bunch of sheep.
Bro, you're not gonna be using a horse anytime soon, bro. You're gonna be driving cars,
no,
dude.
No, but I'm saying there's still utility. I can make.
Of course, I know.
Yeah,
that.
in a horse.
I know what you guys are saying.
Yeah,
I know.
a horse is something different. Like there's just a lot more utility. In a
You
horse.
are right. That's very true.
Right?
Okay, so
The difference between
anyways,
like honestly, if I had a bunch of chickens and a goat, I would rather kill a chicken, bro, because it's easier to just do. It's just more. Either just they come out all the time, and many of them, or a goat and a cow. I take a goat over the cow because the cow is makes milk. It's better, right? It's just more utility, less work.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
So back to the chef.
Goat milk.
Chef,
Goat
can
milk.
you continue the
goat milk. Tafadil. No, so I think the people that, because you referred to Sheikh Ghilan about temporarily being vegetarian when you don't have access to tayyib meat, which is living in good living conditions. But when we have a situation where people are getting together, because let's just say they say, you know what, these people don't eat meat, let's just invite them so they feel a part of Eid al-Adha. Now, I think it's something which is a good gesture, which is cloaked in a good gesture, but it still can become something very un-Islamic. Because people who don't eat meat for whatever reason, right, they're just not going to eat, and they're going to still be in celebration with Muslims or whatever the case is. And the minority of Muslims are people who are scarred from looking at sacrificing animals. They just don't want to eat meat anymore. I know a few people like that in India, right? There's some people like that. Their parents took them to get animals sacrificed from a young age, and they can't even eat meat after that. Not even chicken, because it's just so scary for them. That's how much. What percentage of the Muslim world do you think that is? A very small percentage.
I don't know anybody that does it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I only know a few people like that, right?
Probably a woman, right? A girl.
No, surprisingly, they're boys, yeah. And that being said, I think when you open this door for this culture of veganism, which in itself, if you're a vegan, you actually have to kill lots of animals in order to farm the vegetables and plants that you need to take care of, and all of the, the fruits and vegetables that you want to get shipped over that cause, environmental issues. And the eradicating of rabbits. I mean, there's a huge thing about soy, right? Of what type of soil needs to be planted for soy, and the amount of rabbits and all these different insects and animals that have to die because of people being vegan. It's very double standard, hypocritical way of conducting yourself in this world, bro.
So, what's your advice to vegan Muslims?
To vegan Muslims is, if you are a vegan for ethical reasons, meaning that temporarily you're a vegan because you don't like the way animals are treated, that's fine. Alhamdulillah, bro. As long as you're not denying and saying that it should be wrong to eat meat. If you're saying it should be wrong to eat meat, you're obviously negating many parts of Islam, and that becomes very problematic, because then you have to go with it all the way, and God forbid you have to commit kufr, you know what I'm saying, for the sake of food, bro. You know what I'm saying? Who does that?
Yeah,
it's a really petty thing to commit kufr over.
I mean, if anyone's talked to vegans, or they operate from, like, not all of them, of course. We've mentioned the two types.
Look, the two types of exceptions to the rule. Yes.
There's two types of vegans we talked about already, who have health problems, and the ones that have like a moral issue with the immoral treatment of animals in the slaughterhouses. Aside from those two, there's an ideological group of vegans who feel like they have the moral high ground, that they've taken a life that is above everyone else's. They're living a higher.
They have a higher moral compass than everybody else.
Yeah, they're living a life of much more virtue.
But why are you saying that? Just so you can unpack it, just that portion. Why do they feel that they have a higher, that they're living a higher ground, or they have a better moral compass?
It's.
What goes into that for them?
Well, for them, they feel like they're making a bigger sacrifice in life, and they sometimes feel better. And I see that sometimes even in like the Zabiya Halal crowd as well, because that can get really sketchy too with the types of slaughter. There's like the vertical cut and the horizontal cut in the slaughtering process. There's a group of Muslims who say, no, it can't even be a vertical cut. It must be a horizontal cut in the veal or whatever. And they won't eat the meat if it's like that, because some of the machine cuts are not permissible. So they end up, they have this like, well, you know, some of them, not all of them, some of these people have that kind of like, oh, well, you know, I've made this bigger sacrifice in my life and I feel better than, they won't say that, but they kind of act like that, you know? They feel like they're a bit better than you.
And some of them just feel like they have the right to go police everybody.
Yeah.
In restaurants. Yeah, I get it.
But, so the same with the vegans, you know? These type of vegans, they feel like they're better than other people, and they've made all these sacrifices, and they've realized the qualities that make animals different from plants, and that these are beings with consciousness, and they have life, and they're respecting their life, and we're not.
I mean, there's many ways and thoughts and ideas to make you feel like, to make people believe what enlightenment is, right?
Yeah.
Our enlightenment in our sacrifice comes from Allah, whether we like it or not. if you think that animals, so now this is where the idea creeps in of somewhat being enlightened, right? Because the reason why I'm explaining this is a lot of times people, they write it off as superficial when you say, hey, they feel like they have the moral high ground. And it just sounds too elementary for some people.
Yeah.
But what we're saying is, when you say that you shouldn't eat animals because it's wrong, because they're animals and they have feelings, you've introduced a whole bunch of ideas to enlighten people not to eat meat anymore because it's evil, right? If that's the reason, our enlightenment comes from Allah, and Allah says that we're allowed to, and He encourages us to sacrifice these animals, and in some conditions where you have to give a certain portion, and even if it's for aqiqah, for when the child's born, and all that stuff, you're negating all of that, all the rulings attached to that, which means that your enlightenment overrides and supersedes the commandments of Allah and what Allah expects from us, which is why you enter into the realm of kufr if you believe it that way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're kafir. Hasha lillah, I wouldn't say that to anybody. But I'm saying the idea is kufr.
Wait, who's Hashir?
One of my relatives, okay, if that makes you happy. That's why this is important. Look, the ideology, again, like you said, it's an ideology. It's not an ideology of, for us, it's an idea. We think of everything through Islam. I know this is elementary and basic, but that's the facts, dude. We think about everything the way Allah expects us to do things. And if you have a problem with that, hey, dude, look, not everything in Islam is always going to sit well with you, but it doesn't mean you join a coalition organization and you start becoming anti-eating animals and you just eat plants. Because even if you do that, those plants have to be grown on certain grounds which kill animals anyway.
Well, I think there's an obvious hypocrisy with some of these people, though, to be honest. Because, they will spend all this money on tofu and soy and all this stuff,
avocados,
and the condition of people producing these things, like the horrendous conditions of migrant workers and farmers.
Yes, sir.
All this stuff, and even third world, and they literally they don't bat an eye about it.
You know what?
I'm eating vegan. I'm saving the world. I'm just killing a bunch of migrant workers, but I'm saving the world.
Do you know the deal America has with Mexico to get their avocados? America gives them really cheap prices on Coca-Cola and Pepsi or whatever.
Yeah.
And they take all their avocados at a low price from Mexico.
But the vegan doesn't care.
Yeah. They give them high fructose drinks, high fructose corn syrup in exchange for their avocados.
Wow.
So this is why I don't care. These people are. It's a fad. It's a thing. Oh, I'm vegan. I care. Oh, you know what? I'm also part of PETA. Or I just don't worry about no furs for the mink coat. No animal byproducts in your clothing. Oh yeah, but they don't really give a they don't. Okay, they don't worry about the synthetic clothing made in sweatshops. They don't care about those conditions. They care more about animals. They care about human beings. So I don't care about them.
Dude, waswas comes in so many... Dude, taking people away from Allah comes in so many forms, bro. Look, shaitan is going to come to people from all directions. And you don't think that this is obvious, that just denying this portion takes, these people, it takes them way off the other side, bro. Because look, you end up hating when people are doing something religious or Islamic, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bottom line, though, is at the mindset, right? Like, what is permissible and impermissible, we know where it's legislated from. And if you think that you can, that legislation is not sufficient, then there is a huge problem with your iman and understanding of obedience and submission to Allah. When the Quran says, قُلْ أَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ Yeah, this ayah, there's real implications behind it. It's not selective, like when I feel like obeying or when I think it's right. Yeah. It's not concerned about your opinion. It's somehow I thought it's to hear and obey. That's the difference between submission and being, not submissive, right? And so there are certain things where you might think that, oh, you know what? I will agree, like, to a certain degree. Like, if you believe that the animals are being kept in conditions that, are not conducive for halal slaughter, by all means. I can even empathize with that and say, yeah, you know, many even after even let's say the slaughterhouse is up to par, but even the way some of these meat stores, how they store the meat and how they distribute it and the conditions inside the stores, I can understand. It's not, there's no secret about that, right? But the reality is that if you're simply doing it on an ideological reason, because you think that, oh, you know, meat is just inherently bad for you, or there's some inherent harm to the world by eating meat, and by avoiding it completely, you're actually doing something praiseworthy, then this is a problem, right? Because are you saying the Prophet wasn't praiseworthy when he slaughtered these animals, or when he encouraged his Sahabas to do that? I mean, are you saying Allah does not know what would happen? There'll be a shortage of animals, or like the creator of everything wouldn't know these things in the future?
Yeah. And what if they were at Hajj? What are they going to do? Ask the Saudis if they go there that, hey, do you have like some cauliflower we can sacrifice?
So they're going to make a cake that looks like an animal and put like, you know, like a red velvet cake inside, and then just kind of smash the head, right? And then they would...
what are you going to do, bro? Like, you're going to say, I'm not going to sacrifice an animal?
We need one of these...
a piñata for...
A piñata. That's so funny. Imagine all the vegans getting together at Hajj and they just have a piñata and candy comes out.
No, instead of the candy coming out, it's like tofu and cauliflower coming out, bro.
Oh, hang on. I gotta show this. This thing.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Please, can one of our TMM listeners send this to us? Carve it out with a cauliflower, and we will sacrifice it on air.
Yeah, if you can make
for
that,
the vegans,
I will sacrifice that. I will show Sim how to sacrifice an animal.
Dude,
with that thing.
And if you need to, I'm pretty sure YouTube has some tutorials on how to do so.
Look, we can have a creative Eid.
Yeah, bro. Eid
is fun.
Anyways,
any parting thoughts on this stuff?
No, bro. This is making me sick. It makes me want to go eat a steak.
I actually do want to eat a nice little burger right now, some meat. I got done working out before I came here, so.
Oh, why didn't you say so? I would have had some ready for you.
No, I don't want to trouble you.
Trouble me?
Yeah, you want to caliph.
I wasn't doing anything.
Well, you're a very important guy. You know, you're a Sayyid. I should be bringing you food.
That's true.
Yeah, Sayyidi.
Allahumma salli Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad.
Shabab, there's lots of news coming out of Michigan. Our Muslims in America are making us very proud. They're standing up to the programming that is being instructed from the leftists, and it's a very beautiful thing to see. Here we go. Let me pull this up. This Guardian article. Stupid. Okay. Liberal dismay as Muslim-led city, U.S. city brand. Why can't I talk? Liberal dismay as Muslim-led U.S. city bans pride flags. Many liberals celebrated when Hamtramck, Michigan, elected a Muslim-majority council in 2015, but a vote to exclude LGBTQ flags from the city property has soured relations.
Surprise! We're here.
We're here, and we're not queer. So Tom Perkins is writing this article, talking about this week many of those same residents watched in dismay as a now fully Muslim and socially conservative city council passed legislation banning pride flags from being flown on city property that had, like many other being flown around the country, been intended to celebrate the LGBTQ plus community. So basically, liberals are really upset. Oh,
but what they're saying, by the way, just so you know, it's only over government buildings. They're saying they're not telling people what to do with the privacy of their home. If you want to put an LGBTQ flag on your car or your house, they're not commenting on that. They're saying we're not going to give special privilege to the LGBTQ flag on government buildings.
Yeah, and they made the clause that all religious flags and affiliation of any other cultural flags.
Why am I'm so much more excited about this? Because do you listen to like people like Matt Walsh, who wrote that documentary "What Is a Woman," etc.?
Yeah,
these guys they attack the LGBTQ thing through a vulnerability they found within them about the trans thing and being targeted.
Yeah,
we as Muslims We're saying none of this is good with us.
Yeah.
We don't accept any of this.
Yeah.
So
kids or no kids, it doesn't matter. It's not good.
I know we all know Matt Walsh and all these other conservative commentators. They don't like any of it either, but they don't have the guts to say it. We as Muslims...
No, I don't think it's that. I think they know in their mind they don't have a cohesive... They don't have an argument that they can soundly say based on morality. Like, for them, what they're trying to do is... Okay, here. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt your thought. But what they're trying to do is... They're trying to argue from a framework that the Constitution is the working document that we have.
Yeah.
Right? We as Muslims are not bound by that. We're going to say, I don't care what the Constitution says. Right? Because Matt Walsh isn't going by the biblical argument. If he was going by the biblical argument, all of it would be not allowed. What he's saying is that children are protected by law and by what all society understands. So basically by people, by man-made laws, children are off limits by culture and law, and the law also says that minors should have parental consent and all these things. But they cannot argue from a religious perspective. Why? Because their religion is bankrupt. When it comes to the Muslims, we don't feel that way. We feel that Islam is perfect for all of humanity, and so we can argue from that perspective and say, well, we don't really care about what the law says. We know what's right and wrong based on the Quran. Matt Walsh can't say we know what's right and wrong based on the Bible. He'll never say that. Because
he tries to, but he stumbles. Remember what happened on Joe Rogan? Yeah, he tries. He claims he can. But on Joe Rogan's
saying just look at the arguments he makes. What he says in Joe Rogan is something different. What he produces as content doesn't revolve around the Bible.
You're right. Because what if the Constitution changes?
Yeah.
What are you going to do
So
then?
that's the whole problem.
If
and
it's
not only
document.
that, is it okay if you have a bunch of adults running around doing this stuff? Does that make any better? No. It doesn't make any better. Right? Because you still have the problem of an adult trans man or woman walking into a facility of women, like adult women like your daughters and wives, that they have to share a space with. Does that solve the issue? It doesn't solve the issue. You're just restricting it to children. Why? Because it's the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
It's not the... And if you... Maybe he thinks that, first we'll tackle this and gain public opinion, then go to that. I don't know if that's a wise idea, but for us as Muslims, we can operate from a premise, from the paradigm that Islam is the only truth.
Yeah.
And so we're confidently saying that this is wrong.
Yeah. No, and look, with us, even with the Constitution, it's like the same thing with science. If science says something and it goes directly against Islam, then we're going to pick Islam. It doesn't matter. Science doesn't matter. Same thing with the Constitution. Look, every Muslim that you ask is going to abide by the Constitution, understands where they're living, and they know that they have to abide by it. But if there's something they disagree with because of Islam, they're obviously going to choose Islam, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's what...
So, I mean, we do have in Hamtramck... By the way, those people who don't understand, Hamtramck, Michigan is a place that's majority Muslim city, one of the only two. Are there
Dearborn and Hamtramck, but Hamtramck is predominantly like Yemeni, like control.
But both of them are majority Muslim, right?
Dearborn and Hamtramck, yeah.
What are the percentage of Muslims in Hamtramck by any chance? Do you know?
Hamtramck originally used to be like a lot of Polish people, but it was a Polish enclave. But I think now it's Yemeni and Bengalis that live in Hamtramck. A lot. I don't know the demographics now, but it's a largely Muslim population.
So back to this article, there's a few Uncle Toms over here. One of them, though the city's Muslims are not a monolith, and some privately told The Guardian that they were frustrated with the council. The only leader to publicly question it was the former city council member Amanda Jakowski, a Polish-American who converted to Islam. I remember seeing this girl somewhere. But she was on some documentary about Hamtramck. So she's
Amanda? Why?
Amanda, you sellout. In a statement, she raised concerns about the move's legality. There are far too many questions to pass this today with any semblance of responsibility. Okay, well, try to pull something out of your... How are you going to try to challenge the legality? Where in the Constitution or your rights are being disrupted?
First of all, the idea here is that the institution of government, not being able to hang a flag over a government institution, doesn't in any way impact your civil liberties, right? It's simply actually kind of going back to what the Constitution was about. The government should be impartial to your views, essentially, right? It shouldn't it shouldn't have to honor all of your views, right? For example, in America, they claim the freedom of speech, right? You can say, I hate democracy, right? The government can't be impartial. It can't be partial for this. It can't say, oh, you can't make that statement anymore. No, it's gonna allow you. It's gonna be impartial, right? And say, listen, I don't agree with it, but you have the right to say it. You know what I mean? I don't have to say anything about it. Or I don't have to. I mean, I can have my opinion, but I can't. I don't have to endorse it or condone it publicly, because that's not the function of the government. The function of the government is to make sure laws are passed. Federal government does other things like, security and infrastructure and all that stuff. And states do other things, right? And the idea is that it's only there to actually preserve the law, right? I mean, and that's the whole idea. So the bottom line is this, that the notion that you have to, this is something we adopted culturally, just for to make people feel better. Oh, put the Eid Mubarak flag, put the gay flag, put the, whatever, put all the flags together, right? Like if you see the townships, right, they have decorations, right? Like Christmas, Eid, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, right? But really the government is not obligated to do any of that. It's simply done just because out of spirit of township or villages, but it's not the function of the government to do that. So I don't know in what framework we're saying we're limiting what the government is doing. That's a great point.
It's not the function of the government.
Yeah, it's not. One of the awesome things is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes distinctions between us and every other groups in society, where we find common ground, but there's clear distinctions. For example, with the homosexual crowd, they're very much against injustices towards minorities or any injustice in the world. There's a good quality about them, let's just say, right? Wherever that moral compass is coming from, it doesn't matter. But that's something that we share with them, right? And that's why some of the partnerships and allyships were kind of forming initially in the late 2010s, actually. And you saw this kind of alliance kind of developing, where we fight for your rights and you fight for our rights. But there came to a point where there was a clash, right? Where we can't be accepting of your lifestyle to the point where you're going to be, even to the point where we can't be accepting of their lifestyle at all. But they now had traversed the territory where they would now say, hey, we're going to enter into your homes and indoctrinate your children with our beliefs and our practices. And that's where we had huge disagreements with it, not just us, but the Christians as well, and so on. And I think one of the amazing parts about this is that we can't ever be completely allied with anyone, whether it's Christians or any kind of other group in the world.
It'll be very niche if it's an agreement.
Right. Yeah. We can share a common word on something,
yes,
and we can move forward on that, but then you can't be fully locked arm in arm and walking with them in anything.
I mean, to dumb it down in the simplest way, I mean, I shouldn't say dumb it down, but it is the Islamic principle, right? Where you can only unite upon truth.
Yeah.
You can't say, oh, if there's evil or falsehood that exists within it, you can't unite with it, right? So uniting is something, meaning you have wala with them, right? And you can only have wala with the Muslims because they have the same ideological struggle that you do completely, right? But at some point, we're going to ideologically clash with other people. It's just because, and that's fine. That's every religion, every idea. Even amongst the LGBTQ community, there are clashes between trans and gays, right? Between and even in that the larger circle between the feminists and the trans, right? People who are traditionally seen as allies of one another, right? There are also clashes. So that goes to show you that even in their groups, they're not cohesive, right? So why do they expect exclusivity for us, right? I mean that, what? Oh, you should be also with us, right? No, your own people are not with you. Your own group has divisions, right? We're not, and that just goes back to affirm what the Islamic principle is, that we can only unite upon truthhood.
Yeah, I agree. And look, dude, some Muslims are going to stumble. Some Muslims are going to be put in weird positions, and they feel like they have to support it because they want to protect and there's some people that are willing to openly, based on their positions, grow a little bit of ghira and for their deen and say, you know what, it shouldn't be this way, and I as a Muslim don't have to support this. And there's if you have a problem with it, that's just that's your fault, and I'm not actually going to mistreat you. That's something we have to really understand. Muslims, anytime they see a human being, they're going to treat a human being with dignity and respect. It doesn't matter. Your sexuality, your inclinations are none of my business. I just want to treat you as a human being. That's it. You want me to treat you based on something else, based on one of your feelings or your impulsivities or your, whatever inclinations you have, and we're not willing to do that, because that's going to oppress us, and you're going to oppress yourself.
I want to play this one clip here.
Nice.
Hang on 1 second.
We will get to all of those stories in just a moment, but first, our top story tonight: a Sammamish city leader resigns following his comments against the LGBTQ community. The remarks were made.
I'm going to forward it.
So, as my background as a Muslim person, it is my duty in my belief.
That's now former Sammamish Planning Commissioner Wasim Fayed during Thursday's meeting.
I'm not trying to insult anybody or trying to praise anybody.
Fayed, elected in February, began sharing his opinion regarding the LGBTQ community following a diversity training leaders recently had.
Ya ayyuhan nas, inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha.
He started by reciting a verse from the Quran.
So this verse in the Quran says, "O mankind, O people, verily we have created you from a male and a female."
He goes on to say he learned a lot from the presentation, which he called an eye-opener.
People were created certain ways, but then to club certain people who choose a certain lifestyle and say they are among the minority, I don't believe that is the right thing. And I'm going to be very specific. The LGBT community, and specifically creating a Pride Month for them.
Fayed says people who identify as LGBTQ are choosing this lifestyle.
These are not a minority people who are disenfranchised.
During his 5-minute and 32-second speech, he claimed the LGBTQ community is mostly made up of wealthy and connected people.
In my opinion, these are people that are promoting diseases, infestation into the mind of our kids in schools.
So refreshing to hear something.
He encouraged the community to stand up against this.
I don't believe this is the right way of life. God created us a male and a female. And go against the creation of God and to spread diseases in the community is something that we should speak up against.
The now former commissioner claims he believes in diversity, yet wants LGBTQ people to live their lifestyle privately.
But to go and make it a thing to promote this in every movie, in every TV show, everywhere, teaching our kids and poisoning our kids with this, I don't believe this is the right thing to do.
Statements which surprised city council leaders like Pam Stewart.
While we acknowledge the commissioner's right to free speech,
Good.
We were shocked to hear the comments made, and we strongly condemn them.
Of course you do.
These comments do not represent our community.
She said as she read the city's response to the commissioner's rant. City council member Amy Lamb also responded saying, quote, "I am deeply offended and angry about the comments made by Commissioner Fayed," adding they've added the DEIB, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Initiative to our work plan, which includes training for all staff, council, and boards for commissions.
The city of Sammamish is committed to fostering a welcoming and inclusive environment.
You know how much training is going to happen now? And how much they're going to institute because of this dude? Hours and hours of clicking.
They're like, damn it didn't work.
People working from home, they're going to have to be taking all these courses, 1-hour courses, watching videos.
Oh, yeah.
So wait, where is this town? Sammamish.
Sammamish is in Michigan, I thought. Okay. Or wait, it's in Washington.
Okay.
Can't remember.
It's in the heart
no, I think it's in Washington.
Washington State or Washington?
Washington State.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, Washington State.
Yeah, bro. Let's get him on too, inshallah. That'd be great if we can have him on as a guest.
Yeah, I tried to reach out. I couldn't find him though. I think he shut down his social media.
Yeah, he had to resign.
Why should he resign? I don't understand. Like, what? Make me resign. Why would you resign? Did you say that's your opinion?
I think he knew what he caused, and I think it was just like, hey, dude, I did my job.
Yeah, he probably doesn't want to have the deal with all the drama. He's like, listen, I don't want
the drama. He still has to conform to a lot of
no, not only that.
He made that.
I don't think it's that. I think he knows that he's going to be up for probably re-election, and people they're going to smear him on this, and he doesn't want to deal with the drama. He's like, I said my piece.
I think that definitely has to be a part of it. But once he makes that comment, he's still going to be a part of this institution that's be constantly promoting it, and he's going to be at the butt of every joke there. You know what I'm saying? And when I say butt of every joke, I mean he's still gonna. He probably feels also that he's in a state of hypocrisy where he's a part of that institution that keeps promoting him more and more every month, and he just can't do anything about it.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of other things that the government does besides just that, that you have to promote. Okay, so I think it's just more of the fallout.
That's true.
Let's just say, okay, should you, as someone who has reached council member, should you keep those thoughts private and work in the background and try to...
We tried that. We've tried that before, right? We're going to kind of just work with everyone, make allyship. That's what got us in this mess in the first place.
No, not make allyship.
But I'm saying to be silent.
Work with conservatives.
Yeah, I get it. But to be silent, like, let's be honest, conservatives most likely... First of all, conservatives want to hear this kind of talk. Right? They want to hear that someone's believing about God, about what Scripture says, like whatever it may be. And so, but in order to get these kind of positions, they had to ally with the left, right? It just was what it was. And to remain silent is one of the reasons why we're in the mess we're in right now. Look, is the planning commission going to really do much for the Probably not. I mean, it's just. I mean, I'm blessed him. He's doing what he can do, but it's not like some major position where if I let it go, there's a major impact to the community. No, I think doing this has a profound impact because it shows people that Muslims are a principled people. That look, you have your way. We respect it. You know, this country. You can do what you want to do with it. But I don't agree with this lifestyle, and I won't be made to promote it. And it's just that simple. Yeah. Right? So do I think that maybe if the climate was different 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, where you kind of want to be more tactful because it wasn't something that in your face or existential to us, I mean, the threat, maybe I would agree with you to some degree. I think at this point, especially on this issue, we have to be even more vocal about it.
And it depends who you ask. Look, do you remember the last time we were talking about like mainstream and people, they made up this word of mainstream Muslims and mainstream... It depends who you ask if what he did was tactful or not tactful, right? If you ask the average person that still believes that Muslims have to, they have to keep moving up and they're going to keep doing this and they're going to have to stay quiet, moving up. If you ask those people, they're going to be like, oh my God, he destroyed his career and he messed everything up. But if you ask somebody who believes in Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar, if you ask somebody who believes encouraging the good and discouraging the falsehood and calling out falsehood the way it is and encouraging somebody who does something good and promoting that, right? If you ask somebody like that, you're going to say no, especially in a position where he has more power than the average person. And he was tested the same way Ibrahim alayhi salam was tested, right? We celebrate sacrifice, bro. That's who we are. And if you reach to a position and you speak what he spoke, which was truth, he didn't say it in my feelings or because of the Constitution. He was citing verses of the Quran. He spoke the truth to his capacity, to the best of his ability, what he did. If all else fails for him on the dunya level, man, this person earned their Jannah, bro, because they took their authority of what they had compared to the average person, and they did the prophetic thing. They spoke of Amr bil Ma'ruf, encouraging good and forbidding the evil. So it depends who you ask. Yeah. If this person was politically invested in a Democratic Party and we're going to do it, we're going to change the world, and we have to follow we have to follow suit with everything the Democrats do, no matter which way they move. If you ask them, they're going to be pretty pissed off, no matter how much they claim to be Muslims and how many times they pray a day. But if it depends who you ask.
I mean, I'm with you guys. The counter that many of the people who are like the Ikhwani type, the Muslim Brotherhood type, they say, oh, look at Najashi, he was quiet about his people because he was ruling over Christians. That's the example they always bring up, he had the hikmah and he set a precedent for us working within the system and maybe bringing change from within.
And they talk about hifz al-fadl, like about the whole thing where the human rights charter and we have to align, the Prophet would have signed it even if it happened today, and these are just very different. Like, that wasn't embracing the right to sodomize people, right? That wasn't a human right, right? We don't what we define as human rights and with how they define human rights are entirely different. Like, is it human rights for someone to take possession of your children and forcefully give them hormone suppressants and, to misgender them, right? Is that human rights now to give the state full coverage or consent over your child? Yeah. Like, I don't think the Prophet would have signed that kind of agreement, right?
Yeah. That argument is so used, man. It's so overused and abused. It's so problematic because when you do misuse, look, of course Najashi was a great example, but like you said, it was very, very specific. And when you misuse those examples, you're taking something that was a pivotal moment in this ummah, and you're changing it to something else, which also those things can lead to kufr. If you take something that's pivotal and you make it about something else, people can use those very same examples and utter kufr, and they don't realize they're doing it. Yeah. Right? Which requires somebody to speak the truth, bro, not sugarcoat. Wherever you are, man.
Couldn't one argue, though, obviously, things that happened at the time of Rasulullah, not sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not everything was apparent. Like, maybe Allah had given him foreknowledge that Najashi would be a Muslim. Like, it would be something that he would be a believer, right? So he felt safe allowing them to go there, safe passage, right? Point being, though, is that those are some situations that happened during the Prophet's life that we don't necessarily know the wisdom behind it because the information was not always given to us, right? But I think to take those anomalies as evidences to do certain things without knowing in a concrete way what the intention was, it's very risky.
It is. I think that would be secondary. I think you're right. That's secondary, though, because it is a possibility. But what did Ja'far... Look, first and foremost, what is the reasoning that they used for Najashi and what incident occurred? It wasn't everything about his life, right? What do the Najashiers say that Muslims, because of what Najashi did or what Najashi helped the Muslims with? What point was it? What element was it? Because there's a few things that we could actually gravitate to, but what was that? What is it that you were saying that people use the Najashi rule?
Well, they say that the Najashi...
he worked with the non-Muslim to
Well, because of him, if he announces Islam to the people, they would have overthrown him, but he used his power and influence to grant safe passage to the Sahaba who were being persecuted, and that brought some khair from his... him keeping quiet about his religion.
Do we know that he was quiet about his conversion?
That's the thing. That's the reason I was asking.
First of all, he didn't live that long.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I mean, do we actually know? In fact, because
he died during the Prophet's lifetime,
right? And the Prophet prayed janazah over him, right? I mean, in ghaiba. But what I'm saying though is that is there really? I don't know. I'm asking. Is there evidence that he secretly? He hid his conversion. We know he converted, but that he hid it because he was afraid to lose power. Is that, or are they assuming that?
I don't know. I think they may be assuming it.
But that's I'm not saying if a no, but I'm just saying that, I'm wondering where the argument... Because a lot of times people, again, assumption is a very dangerous thing. Like the assumption that the Prophet was did not have knowledge that Najashi was going to become a Muslim and it was going to be a kind of a blind shot in the air. Because why would he go specifically to Habash? Why didn't he go to Faris? Because think about it. Ard al-Habash, before the Prophet's time, they actually conquered Yemen. They weren't like people that were gracious towards the Arabs. Like, they actually conquered. Al-Adha came and conquered the Arabian Peninsula, right? In certain parts of it. So they weren't like some kind of peaceful entity that the Arabs had some kind of affinity to. No, they actually repelled them, especially the Jews. They didn't like them at that time, right? And the same thing, so what I'm arguing is that, because they could have gone to Persia, they could have gone to Rome, they could have gone to many other places, right? Why was it specifically... Ard al-Habash? And I'm arguing there's a possibility the Prophet was given wahi that this would be
he got wahi for that because he said there are people that's just, so go to them.
Right.
He knew. Look, Rasulullah knew they were going to be safe there. You know how safe they were? That Ja'far radiallahu anhu, he actually told them how we think of Maryam and how we think of Isa alayhi salam, and we think that he's not a god, and they tried to throw them under the bus.
Look how they insult you. Yeah, but the other thing also too is that the interesting thing to note is that Najashi did not force them to accept any of their beliefs.
He didn't.
There was no reciprocation.
He said you can stay the way you are in peace. That's it.
That's a key point. There's no reciprocation. Here, in order for us to work with them, there's a reciprocity here that we have to say, okay, we do something for you, you scratch our back, we scratch your back, right? That wasn't the case with Najashi.
Not at all. He was very straightforward with Najashi.
So what else would you say? Like, would they kind of bring forward as an argument that they sought refuge with a non-Muslim and like they had to, like succumb to the rules or what? Like I don't know.
I mean, there's always the greater benefit argument. They use the maslaha argument that the brothers from.
I'm thinking aside from the assumption that Najashi hid his faith. Is there any other argument like maslaha or any other anything else? Because besides that, I don't see really anything besides, hey, the Prophet knew that this place would be a safe haven for the Muslims. He knew this through Wahi, so he sent them there. They preached Islam to Najashi unapologetically. He didn't hide their beliefs about Sayyidina Isa and Maryam alayhim salam. They did not hide that view, and Najashi did not force them to accept any view of his own.
Yeah.
So I don't understand.
And also, if Najashi became Muslim, which he did, he would take his orders from the Prophet, and if the Prophet did instruct him to announce his Islam, he would have.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So he understood that.
Somebody's saying in text that he was quiet. There was a story where people accused him of being a Muslim, so he tricked them into thinking he was still a Christian.
Yeah. There was where he pointed to his heart and he said, "No, let me remember." He had generals who were staunch Christians.
Yeah.
And they were very known to remove people from power. So he knew that a coup would have happened, a coup d'etat, had he announced his Islam. So they even approached him and said, "Hey, have you forgotten your religion, Christianity?"
Oh, and then he pointed,
and under his heart he had or on his chest he had a letter.
Cross. Oh, yeah,
he had a letter affirming his faith. I don't know if it was like a letter from the Prophet or something like that. Don't quote me on this.
Some sacrament,
but he had something that affirmed his Islam. So he said, "No." He pointed to his heart, like, "I still believe."
So I think in that regards, though, to me that would possibly fall under taqiyya in the sense that the valid one, right? Where, hey, they're going to harm me if I proclaim Islam publicly. But it wasn't that. And now, if we as Muslims are faced with a life and death, sure, I don't think anyone's arguing that you can't hide your Islam, right? But if there's no pressure to do that, I don't see that as a valid excuse.
It's not even about. It's also about that. But look, then
he did have a paper that said the shahada on his chest. So.
Look, nonetheless, the reason why I asked that question is this. No matter what the argument is, Islam is now complete, and it was completed, right? Islam was not complete then at the time of Najashi, right? For a Muslim to say that this is okay for me to ascribe to all these different ideologies, whatever the ideology is, the Muslim is lying, right? Because those things have already been, those rules and regulations have been revealed, and to say that we're totally okay with this, no, you're actually lying, because they can look it up, and the conservatives have called out Muslims so many times, and they have that. No, look what the Sharia says. Look what it says. They're actually. Of course, Islam is against this.
So your argument is that the Sharia was not really even.
Of course, it
entirely.
wasn't. Yeah, because if the Muslim says that this stuff is allowed, and it's not, because even the Christians and Jews know that Muslim is lying.
I think the equivalent would be to say, if someone asked, if his soldiers asked Najashi, is it okay to say God has a son? And if he says, yeah, it is, perfectly fine, we're all believers, then you have an argument, right?
No, but that's why there's the concept of tawriya in the Sharia.
What I'm saying is then you have an argument, because you're masking something which it's clear, even at that time, shirk billah is never allowed, right? So you're masking something to kind of get by, right? And to maintain power and somehow secretly convert the people. I don't know, right? If that type of da'wah was allowed, because to be honest, what they're saying now is for the sake of da'wah. It was permissible in their minds, right? That's the argument. Now, in that case, why didn't the Prophet ever lie about that? Why didn't the Prophet, for example, when the tribes came to him and said, you know what? We'll give you all the power, but when you die, the power transfers to our tribe. He could have lied about it and said, yeah, sure, no problem. And then set up, ways
Deception,
to eliminate them, right? And deceive them. He could have done that, right? Or if, for example, other things that happened, like, there are many opportunities he had. Or, for example, a great example. This is actually one of the truthfulness of the Prophet that is a great example of his prophethood. The day when the year when his son Ibrahim died, alayhi salam, when he died, an eclipse happened, and the pagans were like, "Oh my God, how could this happen? The prophet's son dies. He must be a prophet because the eclipse happened. What a auspicious event this is, right?" And he comes out and says, "No, the eclipse does not happen for the death of any man, including my children. This is from Allah." If he was he could have certainly used that and say, "Aha, yeah, come to me," right? Because the end justifies the means, right? They're going to become Muslim, right? And then later on teach them the real truth. I know eclipses only happen from Allah, but he never employed these tactics. He was honest and true and trustworthy. Unless people were faced with a situation where it was life and death, you were permitted to lie about certain things, whatever it may be, but that situation wasn't there.
But even Tawriya, so what Najashi did, which as far as saying that my faith is here, that itself, so like there's taqiyya, which is a more extreme, and then there's Tawriya.
It's not even a lie.
This is Tawriya. Tawriya is basically
the implied meaning.
Not only that, it's like you're saying something, but you're not completely. It's not a complete lie because he knows what he's holding on to, and he says, it's still here, right? And look, we see that same thing with Ibrahim alayhi salam. Even though, and the beautiful thing about Muhammad's prophethood is, he allowed other people, obviously through wahi and with the permission of Allah, for people to do taqiyya, but he never had to do it, and he never did it, and he allowed other people to do it. Same thing with Tawriya, he never really had to do it, But even Ibrahim alayhi salam, right? When he fell sick, when they went on the celebration, the incident where they left, he broke the idols. He said, "Inni saqim." In the Quran, he says, "I'm sick. I'm not feeling good." Right? In order to teach them that lesson. Right? But he wasn't talking about really sick. He knew what type of sickness he was referring to.
He was sick of the shirk.
But also when he went with Sarah. Right? And Jibreel alayhi salam came to tell him that you're to say it's your sister,
but
not
sister
your wife.
Humanity.
Exactly, right? So that happened with a few incidents with Ibrahim alayhi salam. Look, that's different, but the argument can now stand as this is the Sharia of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Sharia of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam overrides everything else, and our Sharia is very, very specific. And they're right, but the Sharia was not complete then. That's the first thing. It's still the point that if you're making the Najashi claim and you are using that claim for alliances with the LGBT community or any other community which is committing open haram and fahsha, you are lying when you say that I'm allowed to do this, or Muslims are allowed to, encouraging Muslims to do it, because the Sharia is full of prohibiting that. So you're actually, it's a false analogy. Do you understand what I'm saying? The analogy no longer stands, right? And your life is not in danger, like you said.
I can't see the justification for that at all. Still, I can't see.
No, I can't either. I'm just. This is one of the things you owe.
I'm just saying I can't.
You just hear it all the time, and it's like, wow, like I thought we were past this because we should at least learn from the mistakes that we've made, at least through 9/11, and regrettably, many scholars, many notable individuals, people of influence have said things that I'm sure they now regret, and they thought they should say that in that moment, and that moment has passed, and we're still here and we're still alive. Had they had not said that, we would still have been here and still living normally. So I think these trials, like before 9/11 and now this LGBT, we're at this moment where we as a community can learn from some of the lessons that happened in at least from 9/11, where we don't say stupid things just to get by through this moment. We have to stand for what we believe in, and we accept whatever.
That's how we carve a path, bro. We don't follow anyone else's path.
I just realized something. I think it's like the 9/11 event was like a forging. Like the ones that coped with it by saying, "It's not Islam. We are peaceful. We love everybody. We love," like the ones who did that, right? From the mountaintops, right?
They're bygones. No one cares about them.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that those same individuals are the ones who are now embracing this, right? Yeah. Because they have to fall on their own sword now because they made those claims back then, right? But there were people, like us and so on. Well, we didn't take a position that, well, hey, look, we know the killing of innocent life is wrong, but we don't need to go beyond that. Like, we don't need to prove to anybody that we love everybody. No, we don't love everybody, right? We don't love everybody. What I mean in that, in the sense that, just to be clear here, is that sure, there's a natural humanity that we have with people in terms of Bani Adam, but in terms of love and adoration and brotherhood, that's with the Muslims.
Yeah,
that's with our brothers and sisters.
Unapologetically.
Yeah, and I think people who are unapologetic about that, or not shy to say that, don't have a problem today saying the same thing about the LGBTQ. Because if we can weather that whole Patriot Act, we can deal with a bunch of queers. It's not a problem, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's just how I feel about it, right? Like, we had to go through that, like the scrutiny, the pressure, the eyes, the watch list, right? Not knowing what to do, where to travel
Feds.
to, all that stuff. We had to deal with that from the federal government, who had all the power. If we can survive that, what's the Rainbow Army? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really mean anything. And I think those are the same. It just kind of dawned on me, those people who went on a limb to say Islam loves everybody, it come as you are, it doesn't matter, you can do whatever you want to do, we have multiple paths, all the nonsense that we heard just to be accepted. They didn't even believe it. A lot of them didn't even believe that nonsense.
No, they don't.
They didn't even believe it. They just said it because it felt good. It felt like, hey, we're with you. We're on the same team. They're trying desperately to prove like we're normal like you guys. Yeah. And it's backfired.
No, dude, and you sense the inferiority. I remember even when I was younger, it didn't sit well with me when people, fine, forget about the masjid. I still don't like inviting politicians to Jummah and them standing in front of the masjid and talking to the Muslims. That part I can't stand. But even I've been to different events, and all of us have, when they invite politicians and they give them standing ovation when they come and Takbir Allah, we're doing it. It comes from such, look, I'm not mocking them, I'm saying it comes, look, Muslims, we have to recognize. Oh, you've never seen that? Oh,
wait, for a kafir politician?
For a kafir, wallahi. I've seen it multiple times. I swear by Allah, bro.
You've seen this thing too?
Yeah. Wow. I remember when Henry Hyde came. Allahu Akbar, Henry Hyde, Takbir, Henry Hyde, Takbir, Henry Hyde.
Subhanallah,
Wallahi,
George
bro.
Bush took his shoes off in the masjid.
Yeah, dude. So what I'm saying is, they get this high. That's the only way I can describe it. They have this weird high that overcomes them.
The acceptance.
But it comes from a very, very inferior place in your heart. If you find yourself doing that, bro, listen, you should not celebrate like that. You should only, if you have anything to celebrate at that level, it's only for the ayat of Allah, nothing else, bro. That is showing us that this person that doesn't even know how to wash their butt properly, bro. Who cares what they're wearing, bro? They walking around crusty, dude. You know what I'm saying? They use the bathroom right before they came in to talk to the Muslims in the masjid. Just wiped, bro. Just
wash his hand afterwards.
Yeah, look, I'll just use sanitizer. You know what I'm saying? And that type of person, takbeering, and they're getting everybody, and anybody who has a problem with that, they get the security involved and they'll kick them out. Like, you're ruining it for us. And like, dude, what is this high that shaitan has given you right now, bro?
Can I tell you something? Like, okay, so this is how ingrained it is in my heart. I firmly believe this. The worst Muslim is better than the best kafir. And people might disagree with me, no problem. But for me, that belief in La ilaha illallah is monumental.
Yeah.
It is so heavy. It changes the way I look at someone entirely.
Of course.
I am biased 100%. If someone says that, I automatically put them on a scale that's higher than anybody else who doesn't say it. And to the point where even the ones, certain groups who were misled, I believe, who did certain actions, people are quick to say, they're not Muslims. I never say that. I say they're Muslims, but they're misguided Muslims. Because at the end of the day, they still had La ilaha illallah in their heart. Yeah. Allah will deal with them.
Yeah.
Allah will hold them accountable.
Yeah.
What they did was wrong, but they are not a kafir.
Yeah. And we also make dua that they
because the kafir is worse.
Yeah.
The kafir is the lowest of all human beings.
Yeah, bro. And look, what you said is 100% true. And we as Muslims, we hope that they don't have to face Allah in that way.
There's some, I would say there's a caveat to that. Like, I truly believe there are certain dictators, some tyrants, who just say that they don't really believe in Allah.
I'm not talking about those people.
I'm not I just want people to understand that although there are people who will say the shahada, they're not, their heart, Allah, and only Allah knows this, but I believe that no one who knows that Allah exists and has the shahada in his heart would do the crimes that they have done.
So let me reiterate right here the thing. Of course, I'm talking about people who actually believe in the heart. As far as the crimes, the shaitan can get anybody to do anything, right? And this is the ayah of the Quran. قُلْ يَا إِبَادِيَ الَّذِينَ أَسْرَفُوا عَلَى أَنفُسِهِمْ لَا تَقْنَطُوا مِنْ رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ. Right? Doesn't matter what you did, Allah can forgive it all.
Yeah. Actually,
Muhammad ibn al-Wahhab says that what is worse in the sight of Allah, making shirk billah or having fornication with your mother? Who can even think, a'udhu billah, who can think about that? Right? That disgusting thing. But what's worse is shirk billah. Allah can forgive that disgusting type of zina. Allah can forgive that. But He can't forgive the shirk that you do. And I think that for me, and this is one thing, this is why I say the understanding of Tawheed is so important, because it conceptualizes things. I'm not talking about fake guys who just say shahada because they want to get political clout. No, I'm talking about real believers, people who sincerely said la ilaha illallah at some point, and maybe they might have been misguided, whatever happened, but there is a salvation of some point to them eventually.
Yes,
there's something, Allah can have mercy on them. Right,
they have to take the steps though,
right,
of course,
like all of us do. But even I'm saying, even if they die upon a mistake they did, if they sincerely believed in the shahada, that can be enough to be the salvation, because Allah can forgive everything. And Allah can punish him in the fire for as long as He wills, and then release him and allow him to the Jannah, because the Jannah won't be haram for him, because he didn't make shirk billah. Right? So what I'm saying is that, but the statement that I'm saying right now is problematic for many people to say.
It is.
If I know there's a murderer out there who murdered a bunch of Christians and he's a Muslim, I hope it never happens. But even if he did that mistake, I believe that person had a chance for Jannah eventually. Allah, He can make tawbah, or Allah can put him in the hellfire, but he, in the eyes of Allah, is higher than the kafir.
But he would still be going through the criminal justice system.
Of course, no doubt. I'm not saying defend it. I'm not saying defend anybody. I'm saying that we're talking about spiritual concepts here. At the end of the day, that person, there's something unique about him in the eyes of Allah, that he's a Muslim, if he's a Muslim. Right? I'm saying truly. Of course, he has to deal with the justice of this world. Allah will even bring the kafir who he was wronged by this person, and justice will happen. But what I'm saying is, in eventuality, after his punishment, where Allah sees sufficient, we have the belief that this person will be admitted into paradise. We have all the hadith about the worst one who will just be looking from he'll just want to come closer to Allah. I don't want to go through the whole hadith, but Allah will eventually grant him paradise. Why? Because he had a shahada.
Exactly.
And this is, I think a lot of people struggle. Like, we have to, even right now, some people are like, we have to explain it further. We have to kind of, I don't want people to take it the wrong way. No, I don't feel that when I say it.
Just feel confident in your statement.
Right. Because I feel like this is who we are as Muslims. We believe that this shahada is our saving grace. I mean, of course, the action required, the actions of the limbs are required, but at the end of the day, the one who says La ilaha illallah and dies upon it, he will enter Jannah. And that's what saves us. So if all these people want to say whatever, I get it. There's wrong. We can speak against the crimes they do and all this stuff. But in a way where, imagine, we're willing to throw a believer, even a misguided believer, under the bus for the pleasure of a kafir.
Bro.
Who Allah despises. Asfala safili. I mean, the people who are lowest of the low. Even below animals. And you're going to praise them over a person who said the shahada? Allahu Akbar.
Man.
I don't know, man. It's crazy to me.
But you just said it's something so basic, though. But it's something we learn as children. Something came over to cover all that. Again, culture is very, very important. Environment's important, and covers all these basic concepts where we have other concepts and we think that they're very advanced concepts. When in reality, they don't compare to these basic concepts. But sorry, cut you off, bro.
No. Go ahead, wrap up.
I'm wrapped up. I'm all wrapped up.
This show is a wrap too.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to take up the whole rant and then the show.
No, it's okay, dude. It's okay.
We're pretty far along on the time. But folks, make sure you go ahead and click on the like button. Throw a comment in the comment section below with your thoughts related to the episode. And I
just want to say that when we have time with our Sayyidi, this feels like it's too short. I never realized we were so over time. Time with you is amazing.
We should start at 7 o'clock, have a maghrib break, and then come back.
Yeah, I apologize for starting late, but we have to pray too.
Okay.
No, we have.
Some of us were fasting.
Some of the Shabbat were waiting before the show started. So
I saw some guy who was waiting at 2:00 in like UK time. He was just waiting, like waiting in the chat. Allah bless your soul, bro. That's some amazing dedication. I love you, bro. Like that means a lot to me.
It does.
Yeah.
You wait for little old me.
Please, in your heart, in this holy month of Dhul Hijjah, if you could find it, donate a few dollars a month, just a few dollars.
For the price of a coffee.
Price of a coffee. To the Madam Luke's, become a patron. Become part of our family. You are always part of our family, but just become even closer. You know, sometimes in the past they would marry their daughters off, and we're not asking for that. We're not asking you to marry your daughters.
And we won't blow the money on a submarine vacation. We won't do that either.
We blow the money on bills that we have to pay. So please continue. If you are already doing so, eternally grateful to all the brothers who have already are regular contributors. This show cannot survive without you guys. Please consider becoming a patron. Patreon.com/The Madam Lukes. And with that, we'll see you all next time. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
I hope you guys liked the Sheikh didn't like the new song.
I like it.
You didn't like the new song. Just say it.
Don't ask me about that. I don't have good taste in that. Speaking of good taste, why are you eating those unsalted?
There's nothing wrong with salty notes.
But